Hi everyone, happy new year to all of you, and let me start today's video by discussing something which is happening in the market right now, that any analyst that you meet, any investor that you meet, sabka mood changa hai. Everyone is so happy that market is giving new highs every day, and people are euphoric in a way that you know what, market girega nahi, that market is going to hit 25,000, by elections it will reach to like 30,000, who knows, and by in a few months it will reach like 90,000 or whatever. So karte chalo invest. But see, as a data driven investor, you must understand a very important chart. And here is a chart in front of you that the market goes through certain stages and ये irrespective होती हैं. For example, this chart does not apply only in 2024. Pick any part of stock market history, this chart will be applicable. So let me quickly explain this chart, what it actually says. So it says that the stock market goes through a journey. First there is optimism, and then there is excitement stage, then there is thrill, there is euphoria, and फिर वो गिरता चला जाता है. So let us understand this point by using an example of COVID 2020. At that point in time, what was the case? That when COVID broke out, we were in the fear stage. Then उसके बाद market गिर गया 10, 15, 20%. Then there was desperation stage, and then there was massive panic after 20%. That okay, now like 30, 40% correction, यार panic ही हो गया, सब खत्म. Then finally comes these 2-3 stages where people are just extremely negative कि दुनिया ही नहीं बचेगी, सब खत्म, this that, right? And from there the story starts changing. Now the important key takeaway as an investor here is, and this is an important point that you need to know, that see, if you are buying in this zone, right, this blue zone, then you are going to make money. But what is happening in the market right now, that people are buying in this zone. And please do comment in the comment box, where do you think we are currently in the market cycle right now? Some of you would say we are in excitement stage. Some of you would say that okay, thrill hai. Some will say euphoria hai, right? We can debate about this. But the thing is that all of us will agree that we are somewhere here in green zone. And people are buying like crazy. Some of them are buying stocks at crazy valuations. Now when you do this, when you buy excessively in this green zone, you stand to lose a lot of money. Whenever the market corrects, and it will correct, you are going to lose 30-40% of your portfolio, maybe, who knows, especially if you are buying very high overinflated assets, and then you will lose trust on the stock market. So for my community, I'm making this video. Please watch it till the very end. Please make notes. This is one of the most important videos I will do. I will do a data-driven analysis of where we currently are, what's going to happen next. I will make logical predictions. Now, of course, I can be wrong about predictions, but whatever I'm teaching you, hopefully it will give you one perspective. And then you go and look at another analyst, whatever they are saying. If you still feel bullish, go ahead and invest. But आप पूरी story समझ लो, because stock market is a complicated animal, and the way it is being operated right now, it has become even more complicated. Now, before delving deeper into my specific predictions, see, there are commonsensical points that everyone is speaking. What are the commonsensical points? भाई साहब, interest rate cut होने वाला है, market is going to go up. Yes, everyone knows it. You are not the only one who knows this. Similarly, elections आने वाले हैं, and you know what? BJP wins the election, most likely that is going to happen. So again, the stock market is going to rise. Now, I don't know who is going to win, who is not going to win. But again, you know what? It's not as if that you and I are political pundit. Now, of course, like XYZ party can win and stock market can go up. No doubt about that. And that is wonderful. But the fact is that this thing is also out in the open. कि क्या होने वाला है इसमें? Now, I'll not do more speculation on election results. But see, these are like basic points that everyone knows. Now, when I was sitting and I was making videos like year and a half back, कि भाई inflation से मत डरो, don't be scared about inflation, it gets controlled. That was our time to buy. We were somewhere here in this zone. भर भर के आपको खरीदना चाहिए था. Now we are in this zone. Now it is time to be cautious. So please listen to this video very carefully. Please understand the entire macro picture, micro picture, what I'm going to teach you. Make notes. Extremely critical video. If you don't have time, drop off, but please watch it entirely. I will also discuss specific stocks. So let's begin. And prediction number 1 is that we are already somewhere in the middle phases to slightly mature phases of the bull run. Now, what do I mean by that? Let me show you the chart here and it will give you more understanding. See, if we look at the mid-term perspective of the market, what you will notice is that before COVID, we were at 12,500 Nifty levels, right? Now the market is somewhere around 22,000 levels. So there has been an increase of almost 80% in a matter of roughly 4 years, right? अब CAGR के basis पे how much it will be? So this is slightly less than 4 years. So roughly the CAGR would be somewhere around 20% CAGR on a mid-term basis, because 4 year would be considered as mid-term. This is an important point. The bull run has been happening since here, right? So this has been the bull run phase. आप देख सकते हो, this is consolidated. So we could say that we are in that middle stages of the bull run from a mid-term perspective. Now at this stage, if the market corrects quite aggressively, now why will it correct? That no one knows, but it will correct. And what is the support level that we are looking at? So we are looking at the first support level of 20,000 and uske niche koi major support nahi hai, right? This is where we are likely to fall in case a massive correction happens. So the maximum fall from this stage that we are looking at comes out to be roughly 17,800, and the likely fall is somewhere around 20,000 if the market corrects from this point. Now will the market 100% correct from this point? The short answer is I don't know, no one knows. Okay, why? Because it might very well happen that we are at 22,000 levels. Now the market dances like this, it goes up, right? It goes to 25,000, okay, and then it corrects by 15-20%, right? But this 10 to 20% correction will come in the market. That in the midterm the market has been overreaching, so to say, and therefore you need to prepare your strategy. Now you'll say कि Akshat, you are just giving like some random estimate here, saying 17,800 हो जाएगा, this that. Show us more data. So okay, so let us look at more data, and this is the PE of the market. So by looking at the historic PE of the market, you are able to assess where we are in terms of the priciness of the market. Now if the PE of the market is high, then one could say that the markets are overvalued, and if the PE is low, then it means that the markets are less expensive and probably it's cheap. It's a great time to buy. Now just for context, for example, in 2021 the PE of the market was around 35, and this is for Indian market, and uske baad there was deep correction that came. The earnings did not go up compared to the price increase, so therefore the stock market entirely corrected. Right now we are around somewhere here. This is like 23-24 ka PE ke aspas. We are somewhere there. Now this according to me is somewhat of a fairly valued PE. So from a PE perspective we are at an okay level. If we look at the mid-term perspective, we could argue that we are reaching that euphoria level. So again, going back to that initial chart where we started the story, now let me pinpoint where I feel that we are currently in the market. See, we are definitely somewhere in this excitement zone right now, right? Optimism wala part is done, right? The recent rally that we have seen, according to me, that was the transition from optimism to excitement. Abhi thrill wala phase aayega, there will be euphoria. Now we do not know when we will move from excitement to thrill very quickly and thrill to euphoria. It might happen in 3 months, it might take like 6 months, it might take 1 year, who knows. So therefore I will give the following stock market prediction. See, the first key prediction is that we are going to correct by 10 to 20%. No doubt about that. That will definitely happen. Okay, so this is one. At what stage will this happen? This is an interesting question because it depends that how fast we move to that euphoria phase. Right now everyone is guessing that, you know what, the election results will be a key trigger, or that interest rate cut will be a key trigger, and it looks like it. So therefore I'm saying that there is a very high probability that we will hit somewhere around 25,000 in the first 6 months of the year, and uske baad it's a wild west. Anything can happen. There can be a very fast 10 to 20% correction, there can be a slow correction, elections will be over, uske baad kya karoge, right? So that is the point that you must start preparing from now onwards as an investor. Be prepared about that, because there is no point, right, that you are buying at 22,000 level, right? 25 tak ka to gain ho gaya aapka, right? And you'll say कि यार अब मैं बेच के निकल जाता हूँ. See, you're not the only market genius out there. Every genius is trying to time the fact that okay, we will hit 25k, then I will sell it. Bhai, उससे पहले भी हो सकता है correction, right? Who knows, right? So therefore, as an investor, you need to prepare for every kind of scenario. So on that note, if you want to structurally learn about stock markets, and I do run a live course on stock market investing. If you are a busy professional, if you do not have a lot of time, the course is designed in such a way that there is 16 hours of live teaching over 2 weekends. It's going to be highly intensive. The completion rate of the course is 95% plus. आप न्यू ईयर पे कोर्स खरीदते चले जाते हो, right? And then people do not even complete it. हजारों कोर्स पढ़े हुए होंगे. But my course, 95% attend it live. They are attentive in the class, and therefore they are able to extract a lot of value out of it. Now there are limited seats left, so in case you are interested, you can check the links in the description and comment box. I speak about a lot of things like hedging strategies, how you can protect your portfolio, what type of balanced portfolio to build. All these are very important points, and if you are investing more than 5-6 lakh rupees in the market, all these points are important for you to understand. Don't just outsource your wealth building. Learn about it, how you can manage your portfolio. At least आपको idea होना चाहिए. Even if you're giving money to others, at least you should have that understanding where your money is going and why at a particular stage in market. So learning hedging, learning portfolio constructions, learning macroeconomics, learning bit of technicals, all these are critical points that I teach on my course. So okay, back to the video. So now we will move from excitement to euphoria stage, right? Euphoria stage. And uske baad there will be correction in the market. So please start preparing your portfolio for a correction. This is extremely critical because you can't prepare for a crash when we are hitting 25,000. This type of preparation happens 6-8 months before. Now comes my second prediction, that we are more likely to hit 25,000 before we hit something like 19,000. Why? Because there are very clear indicators right now as to why this phase from excitement to euphoria will be achieved. उसका मैं आपको बता देता हूँ. So there are two major triggers. One is, देखो, इलेक्शन की वजह से most of us understand who is going to win the election. I'm not supporting the political party, opposing the political party, but semi-final type की चीज हो चुकी है in the state elections, and now the market is predicting a BJP's win, right? So from that perspective, if BJP wins, that will be a trigger for the market to go up, because that positive momentum converts into a confirmation. So from that perspective, there is a very clear trigger sign. If BJP wins, then the market will go up in the short term. So this is point one. Point two, or trigger two, is the fact that interest rates are going to cut, and this is what analysts are predicting, that this is how fast the interest rates are going to cut. They are expecting close to 7 rate cuts, and the first meeting is on 31st of Jan 2024. So another trigger can come by the end of this month, that if the US Feds decide to cut the interest rate, and it is predicted that the interest rates in the US is likely to get cut, at least 90% probability is given to 5 to 550, that is 0.52% के आसपास का कट होगा, which is a very healthy cut, and उसकी वजह से again this converts interest rate cut कि होने वाले हैं, and then finally when it starts to get cut, the markets are going to move up. So therefore I am saying that hey, the probability of markets going up is higher as of now compared to markets going down. Now the third key data point that I will show you is the forward looking PE. So what is the market estimating that what is going to happen in the next 12 months? So यहाँ पे आप देख सकते हो, and I had shown you earlier that the market PE right now in the market is somewhere around 25, and it is expected that the forward P of the market will go up, so it will rise quite extensively. Now this does not mean that the market will double, right? 22,000 say it will move to 44,000. No, that is not what it means. See, it is predicted in this PE ratio that earnings is going to go up, right? You can take a look at this chart, and it is predicting that the earnings is going to go up in the Indian market. So what is going to happen is that there will be a proportionate rise. For example, if the earnings go up by, let's say, 10%, okay, then the price of the entire index should also go up by 10%, right? For it to stay at what, 25, 26. Okay, so this is one. Second key point is that there will be a PE expansion also. कि यहाँ पे तो excitement आ गया, and then this entire phase converts into euphoria. So there will be PE expansion. जैसे आपने खुद देखा होगा कि कभी-कभी Infosys gets like a PE ratio of 25, then it gets to 32. Well, how does that happen? Well, because the market starts giving something called as growth premium. So they will give more pricey or valuation to the entire Indian stock market, and therefore again I am saying that the probability of hitting 25,000 first is much higher compared to us going down to 19,000, at least over the next 5-6 months. Now most likely this target will be achieved in the next 6 months. So then comes the next natural question कि यार then तो फिर हम क्या करते हैं कि we will buy like Nifty at 22k, right? Wait till 25k. This is a very safe strategy. Yes, this is safe strategy, but you don't play this bulk buying game unless there is an existing margin of safety on Nifty. Okay, these are advanced techniques. I teach all these on my course also. Margin of safety means that what is the highest that Nifty 50 has reached in the past? Well, the answer is 22k. Where is it right now? It is approximately at 22k. So what is the margin of safety? The margin of safety is 0. Now, if you are buying Nifty, bulk buying Nifty at 22k right now, thinking that it will go to 25k, see, if your prediction is right, of course you are going to make money. But what if you're wrong? So then it becomes a headache for you, because when the Nifty starts correcting from its peak, it might take like 6, 7, 8, 10 months, 1 year also to go back to its previous peak. Sometimes it is seen. So that becomes a high risk strategy. So yes, you are investing in a relatively safe instrument called as Nifty 50. But from a technical point of view, that is not a safe strategy to adopt. Now, some of you would say, जो सुनते नहीं है ठीक से video, right? They will say, यार Akshat, you just predicted that market is going to hit like 25,000. Now you're saying that it might not hit. See, as a sensible investor, you need to prepare for all circumstances. Yes, the markets are likely to go up. Now, it might happen that it does not go up in the Nifty format. Now, what is the meaning of Nifty format? आपने कई बार देखा होगा, for example, this zone, right? Here, what was happening? The Nifty was moving in a range, right? So this was what was happening, and this is called a sideways movement of Nifty. But ऐसा तो नहीं था ना कि stocks did not perform well. If PSU stocks, if you check the performance here in this zone, they did exceptionally well. So the point is that when we talk about operators, now operators can decide to take Nifty up, or they can, if they want to make their money, they can do that through individual stocks also. So ये एक problem हो जाती है that if you are buying an asset which is already hitting its all-time high, and if you you bulk buy it, then it becomes an issue. If you're doing SIP, तो ठीक है, ऐसा कोई इसमें issue नहीं है, you can continue to do it, but please do not pick bulk buying positions here thinking that the Nifty is going to move from 22k to 25k. Yes, probability is high, but it's still a very dangerous strategy from that perspective. Now, just to give you some context, take a look at the market cap increase of PSU banks, right? Now, if you take a look, that market cap of PSU banks in last 1 year, how much it has grown by, right? So this is not PSU banks, this is PSU. So you can see that for 9 PSUs, the change in market cap has been more than 100%. For 12, it has given a gain of roughly 50 to 100%. 19 के 25 to 50%. So the market cap has increased by at least 50-60%. Banks का तो बहुत तेजी से बढ़ा है, PSU banks का it has gone up like crazy, right? So therefore, I am saying that some of these banks are getting into these overvalued categories, and if you are holding them, then it could lead to trouble. Now, does that mean that every PSU bank right now is overvalued? The short answer is no. For example, I cut my positions on Punjab National Bank a few days back. I explained the fundamental theory also on my member community. Why? Because yeah, 150%, 160% run up it had already given from the levels I had bought. I do not see it as a fundamental play. It was a value play. Value play means सस्ता खरीदो, when it goes up बेच डालो, right? Growth play means, or fundamental play means that you see growth prospects in this company, that okay, doubling of market cap, tripling of market cap, great management, profit के लिए काम करते हैं and all that stuff. So that is not the case when it comes to PSUs. But लोग भर भर के खरीद रहे हैं. Even now, for example, something like IREDA, it is giving massive run up. Now, if you ask someone to explain why is it giving massive run up, नो लॉजिक, राइट? कि ग्रीन एनर्जी का चलन चला हुआ है, राइट? कि अच्छा ग्रीन एनर्जी, सो ठीक है, लेट्स बाय IREDA. नाउ कन्वेंशनल फॉर्म ऑफ एनर्जी इज गोइंग टू रिप्लेस बाय ग्रीन एनर्जी एंड पब्लिक sector companies give great returns, so therefore IREDA will give great returns. Now see guys, I cannot predict what is going to happen with the stock, but you have to have some logic as to why you are buying these type of stocks. For example, मैं आपको समझा भी देता हूँ about IREDA. Now what work does it do? Well, it is India Renewable Energy Development Agency. And what does it do? Well, it extends financial assistance for new and renewable energy projects. Now एक बात बताओ, राइट? कि जैसे रिन्यूएबल एनर्जी प्रोजेक्ट्स होते हैं, जैसे सोलर हो गया फॉर एग्जांपल. नाउ व्हाट आर द प्रॉफिट मार्जिन्स इफ लेट्स से दैट आई एम रनिंग अ कंपनी व्हिच इज इन द सोलर एनर्जी स्पेस. नाउ व्हाट वुड बी माय प्रॉफिट मार्जिन्स? यू अज्यूम दैट इट इज लाइक 12%. नाउ इज द फाइनेंसर गोइंग टू मेक मोर प्रॉफिट्स फ्रॉम मी, राइट? व्हेन आई एम मेकिंग 12%, अब मेरे पास भी तो कुछ बचना चाहिए. सो व्हाटएवर प्रॉफिट मार्जिन IREDA is making, it is making eventually from these type of players. Now unfortunately, when it comes to renewable energy players, the profit margins as of now are not very high. India is a high cost of capital country. जो नए आइडियाज़ आते हैं, दे माइट रिक्वायर मोर फंडिंग. सो येस, दिस इज अ ग्रेट प्ले बाय द गवर्नमेंट दैट यू आर प्रोवाइडिंग फाइनेंशियल असिस्टेंस इन अ industry which requires financial assistance, no doubt about that. But does it make the company very profitable, so to say? At least as of now, there are no indications. But bhai sab stock bhag raha hai. So if you take a look at it, it opened at 65 and right now it is at 104. Within like how many days? Within a matter of few days only, right? So less than a month, it has given like crazy run-ups. Now, if you are chasing these type of stocks, then of course you can make a lot of money also, but the chances of losing money is also very high. So this brings me to prediction number 4, which is a very important point. And here I will say that fundamental play in 2024 is going to be much more important than value play. Now value play का मतलब होता है कि आपको पिटे पिटाए stocks मिल रहे हैं. You are buying like beaten down companies. For example, when I purchased Punjab National Bank, I purchased it at 35, 36, 37, something like that, around that level. So that was a value play. कि पिटी हुई कंपनी है, खरीद लो, right? All the bad things with the bank is over. So that's a value play. That's not a growth play. Growth play means that hey, some really good bank, it is growing, you are seeing profit growing, revenues growing like crazy, profit margins growing, very smart management, introducing new products, industry is growing, bunch of good things happening. So that's a growth play. कि अच्छा ठीक है, from this point the industry is growing at like 10-15%, the stock or that company is a market leader, it is growing at 18-19% because industry से ज़्यादा growth rate आ जाएगी. So this is the difference between value play and growth play. Now somewhere in 2021-2022, this value play was a very critical component in terms of your portfolio design. Right now, sitting in 2024 and even in 2023, this growth play is becoming more and more prominent, and this type of shifts keeps on happening. Now, why am I saying it? Can I back it up with data? The short answer is yes. Now, there was a recent announcement that was made by Hindustan Unilever, where they said in simple terms, we are changing our distribution margin structure. In simple terms, they are saying, see, if you're distributing Hindustan Unilever product, you know what? We are going to extract commissions out of our distributors. Okay. Now, this is a very big kind of an announcement from one of India's leading FMCG companies. Why? आप इसको ऐसे सोच के देखो कि during inflation, when there inflation was high, आप Google मारना and you will get to see that Hindustan Unilever was able to increase its product prices by 10 to 15%. In fact, even more than that, and they did multiple price hikes. And they quoted कि देखो यार, economy में inflation बढ़ रहा है, we are going to charge our customers higher. खरीदना है खरीदो वरना भाड़ में जाओ. So that is what they said essentially, right? In very simple, crude language. So that is what happened during inflation days. Now see that they have made like an additional 10-15% gains from that. Now what is happening is that they are trying to cut down cost to increase or at least maintain their profitability. Now think about it, that why is Hindustan Unilever so focused in terms of cutting cost at this juncture? Because भाई सब कुछ अच्छा हो रहा है कि demand is also there, this is also there, and so many good things are happening. People are just throwing money after money and all, because the reason is that the consumer demand in India is low. Okay, that's part one. Part two is that if you study this chart again, what you will notice is that see, rural demand is low in India. The mid-segment demand is low, only the premium sector demand is high. Now, Hindustan Unilever, where will you put it? Will you put it in premium category? I will put it in urban middle class type of category. So this indicates that one of India's most effective firms in terms of assessing consumer demand, that is also struggling in terms of improving its revenues. So let me just show this to you. So for example, Hindustan Unilever, you will see that trailing 12-month sales growth has been only 9%. So उनको क्या लग रहा है कि चलो sales नहीं बढ़ रही तो at least profit बढ़ा लेते हैं. So therefore they are optimizing on it. Now why is sales growth low for something like Hindustan Unilever? Very simple, because the consumer demand is beaten down in middle class, upper middle class category, lower class category. All these categories are suffering. Only the rich class or premium sector customer is the one who is doing like multiple trips, buying multiple houses and whatnot, right? So that is the reality. Very uneven growth is happening. This trend is only likely to accelerate. So accordingly, you need to redesign your portfolio, and this trend is going to become even more prominent in 2024. Okay, so this brings me to prediction number 5, which is that fixed supply assets are going to do well. Now, why is it that fixed supply assets are going to do well, and what are fixed supply assets? So these would be things like real estate, even Bitcoin to a very large extent. All these things are going to do well. Anything that has fixed supply, even gold could do well. The reason is very simple, that see, we are not going to go to 0% interest rate like pre-2008 levels. We are going to move to 3% interest rate. That is the baseline that will get set. So if we do that, we will live in a moderate inflation world, and it is typically seen that in a moderate inflation world, fixed supply assets do well. So this is point one. The second key way that you can judge this is by looking at the real estate prices in India over the last 1.5 years. आपने देखा होगा that the real estate rent has gone up like crazy. Bangalore में 100% तक बढ़ चुकी है, right? And bunch of other cities it has gone up at least 30-40% in the last 1 to 2 years. Very high rate of real estate prices. Luxury real estate is getting sold like anything. And now this is happening at a time when the interest rates are at peak, right? Because interest rate क्या होते हैं, right? I mean, your home loan EMI, most of us buy real estate on EMI. So the real estate gets sold more when the interest rates will be cut, because your EMI will come down. So people will decide to buy more real estate at that phase. Now 2024 is going to be a time when there will be multiple interest rate cuts, and therefore fixed supply assets like real estate is going to do well. Now again, for example, a lot of people were making fun of me when I spoke about India Bulls real estate. This is not a stock recommendation. आपने जो खरीदना है खरीद लो. I am just explaining you fundamentals. So if you look at India Bulls real estate, in the last 1 month it has gone up by 5.2%. In the last 6 months it has gone up by 44.44%. Now the problem is that when you go and analyze stocks like India Bulls real estate, what you will notice is कि sales उनकी 533 आई है, right? And सब कुछ पिट-पिटा गया, right? I mean, the net profit is so low, this, that stuff. Therefore, discussing these type of stocks on open public platform becomes like a nightmare scenario for anyone giving you sensible commentary. Now see, guys, think about it this way, that right now they are in that building phase, right? Building phase मतलब कि पहले properties बनेंगी, and when interest rate get cut, then they will be sold more, whatnot, right? So this thing that you're seeing ki 533, this will have a switch, right? This cyclicity will be there. So you need to study the industry. You cannot just simply look at the balance sheet in isolation, right? So that's the more important part. This is not a stock buying recommendation. I'm not saying that you should go and buy this stock, nothing of that sort. I'm just using it as an example to illustrate a bigger point, that smart investors, they predict what is going to happen 6 months from now and accordingly construct this portfolio. Again, not an advice that you go and buy this stock. In fact, I'm buying some other stocks. I just simply picked it because there is a cyclicity in the real estate sector that is happening. For example, if you take a look at this balance sheet, you will see कि यार borrowings, when it comes to borrowing, it was a heavily debt oriented company. company, it has been brought down. So good things are happening from that perspective. Similarly, a bunch of other real estate companies are doing a lot of good work. So accordingly, you can pick whichever real estate companies you have a faith on. You can buy direct real estate, you can buy gold, you can buy Bitcoin. All are fixed supply assets, so to say. Now, I had more predictions to make, but unfortunately the video will get extremely long. So I'll probably make part 2, or I will release some video on my Hindi channel. For now, let me take a pause. If you enjoyed this video, do give it a thumbs up. And next, please learn how to construct a portfolio. This is a video that I've done on this topic. Please go and watch it. It will give you more clarity on that topic. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you soon.